Hi class! So this is our last lecture for voice and diction. It's still in chapter 11 and it is over intonation and inflection. And if you're following along in your textbook, we'll be starting at page 320. Okay. So we've already talked about overall pitch. So we've talked about our pitch range, optimum, and habitual pitches. But now we're going to talk about how using pitch can bring additional meaning or clarify or even emphasize what your message is. So in just a moment, I want you to pause the video and I want you to listen to a video clip of someone that you consider to be a very good speaker. And if you are having some trouble finding someone, I posted a link in the description on YouTube for a link to Nelson Mandela. So he's a great speaker, so you can use that. So what I want you to do during the video when you listen to it is I want you to close your eyes and just listen to their voice. Try to block out all of the words that they're saying. Just concentrate on their pitch and specifically the changes in pitch that they make. So what you should be noticing is like a pattern, and it should kind of sound like the person is singing. And so this is the melody of language that you hear, and we call it intonation. So I'm going to just give you a second for you to pause the video, and we'll get back to the next slide. Okay, welcome back. So let's talk about intonation. The total pattern of pitch changes within an utterance is what we define intonation as. And it's also governed by language. So, meaning each language has their own rules for intonation. So specifically, we're going to talk about English language. And what I'm going to do is read these sentences, but I want you to also read them maybe by yourself beforehand, and we're going to discuss them. So, I'm going to the store. That's a declarative statement. And the intonation pattern that goes along with it is you start at a pitch, and then you do a rising pitch, and then a falling pitch. And that's a declarative statement intonation. So the next question, or the next utterance, is a question. So we'll go ahead and say that. I'm going to the store. So what you'll notice is the ending has a rising intonation. And that rising intonation is very typical for questions. However, we also have some questions that don't have rising statements. And this is like interrogative utterance. And so I'll give you an example of this. So if someone says, I'm going to the store, then you would say, like, why are you going? So see how that has a falling intonation. It's important that we use the appropriate intonation patterns so that you don't send contradictory messages. Okay. So we have different keys. And when we say keys, think about it as like a musical key. What is your range, your key range? And it's the average pitch level of an utterance. So you can have 3 different keys. You can have a low key, a middle key, or a high key. And your middle key should be consistent with your optimum pitch. It should be most comfortable for you to produce it. And on page 322, you can practice your low key, middle key, and high key voices. And with the numbers 1 through 6, there's 6 different sentences. The directions are: read each sentence 5 times, first at middle key, then at high key, then back to middle key, then low key, and finally at middle key again. So I'll read the first one for you just to describe how it works. Okay. So first is middle key. please take a seat and the dentist will be with you in a few minutes. Now, high key. Please take a seat and the dentist will be with you in a few minutes. Then back to middle key. Please take a seat and the dentist will be with you in a few minutes. Then low key. Please take a seat and the dentist will be with you in a few minutes. And finally, middle key again. Please take a seat and the dentist will be with you in a few minutes. Okay, so that will just help you with knowing how to change between different keys. So inflection. What inflection is, it's the changes in pitch that happen within the words while you're producing voice. And these are, sorry, I'm just noticing I made a spelling error. My bad, y'all. So these are like slides or glides. So just for a couple examples, first we're going to say the word yes to mean who is it? So that will sound like yes, right? Yes. And then we'll also say the word no to mean absolutely not. So that would be no. Inflection. So rising and falling. We have these two that we're going to talk about right now. Rising usually is characteristics of questions. It could be, so a question like, I'm going to the store. Incomplete series, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and if you're doubt or uncertain about something, people, even when I just said uncertain, I had uncertain. And then also to stress a syllable or a word. So syllable, okay, and falling, that's with, we have ending or finality. Positive statements that you are sure of. To end a phrase could be when we're asking questions like interrogatives. Where are you? And it can be used to offer a greater amount of stress. So another intonation, the last one we're going to be, well, not the last one, but another one, circumflex. So that's when you have both a rising and a falling intonation in the same utterance. So let's compare it with a falling intonation. We're going to say yes with confidence, so it's going to be yes. That's a falling intonation. And then if we're going to say yes like we're not sure, that's a circumflex intonation, and we're going to say yes, yes. Let's see, I believe this one's the last one. Okay, so steps. This is whenever you have abrupt change in pitch between utterances. So this is between syllables and between words. So I can jump up or down. So you can see that my pitch changed very abruptly between, in this case it was just between a word. I can jump up or down. Okay, so that's the end of the lecture, y'all. Your homework is very simple. I want you to record a video, upload it to YouTube, and add your link within the discussion post. And below is listed all of the videos I want it to be highlighted. So it'll be record yourself reading at middle key, low key, and high key, like I did a little example for you. That's 3 passages total. You don't have to do all of 1 through 6. Just use, let's see, I said that wrong. There's 3 passages total. They're not the sentences that were in the example. They're on page 322. They're complete passages. You can pick whatever passage you want, and the options are located under each section. So like the middle key readings on page 322, it starts with number 1 and it goes to number 5. Learning is finding out what you already know. Doing is demonstrating, blah, blah, blah. So all of those, you can just pick one, and I want you to pick one from each section, middle, low, and high key. And then we have a drill for rising inflection on page 326. And all you have to do is just pick one number for it. And it's the sentence. So just follow the directions. It will be the second 1 through 5 sentences. And there's 3 things you have to do for each drill. I think it's 3 different types of like emphasizing on the intonation. So do that, pick one number, read it however the 3 times you're supposed to. For your rising intonation, you do that for your falling intonation. Make sure they're both the sentences. So just so it's all clear, if you were going to do just number 1 drill for rising inflection, it'd be, is it my book? And then, is it my book? Is it my book? So that's just one example. So you do that for the rising, falling, and then your drill for circumflection is the same, circumflex. And then practice sentences, I want you to do that. Do 5 numbers that are listed under your practice sentences. I don't care what 5, just 5 of them. And then your drill for steps on page 329, just do 5 numbers of that. And then on page 330 through, I think it's 331, the book provides some passages for you to read under the section Reading for Intonation. And just go ahead and pick one passage, follow the directions, and select one passage to read from page 330 or 331. And yes, just make sure you plan it out ahead of time so that you mark whatever you want to mark and you emphasize what you want to emphasize, and just really use all your rising inflection, falling inflection, circumflection, and your steps. So just try to have everything that you have been practicing and what you've learned today in that last reading for intonation. And then your discussion questions is, what was the most interesting thing that you learned in this lecture? What did you find the readings to be difficult or easy, and why? And what underlying message were you trying to convey through your final reading passage? It has been great getting to know you all and working with you, and I just wish you all the best. And wow, it's already the end of the semester, so y'all have safe and a wonderful summer, and I've really enjoyed working with you all and getting to know you each. So take good care and stay safe. Bye.